Thank you, dear listeners, for taking out time to tune in to another episode of The Spark. We are committed to bringing you the most captivating stories of some professionals, unveiling the challenging transitions and secrets to their successful journeys to guide your career path. My name is Mabel Shu, and I am your host. So, my guest for today is Hilda Aku Asiedu. One thing I know about Hilda is that Hilda is a storyteller. I read her story on LinkedIn, and that was what actually inspired me. She's the founder of Ofeibea Aku Network, which is a platform for career mentoring for students and young professionals. And on her LinkedIn, she mentioned that if there's anyone who is working towards positive change, the person can reach out to her for collaboration. So this is me reaching out to Hilda with the hope that she would be able to share her story with some of us who need the story. So Hilda, it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Mabel. And I want to say thank you so much for reaching out to me. I do not take this for granted. I'm honored to be on your platform to talk about myself and probably share a little about me and what I do. So I am very honored. Like you said, my name is Hilda Aku Asiedu, but I prefer mostly to use the name of Fabia Aku,
Okay.
which is more like a brand, a brand name.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm the leader and founder of the Ofeibea Aku network.
Mhm.
Yes,
Okay.
but aside that, I am sustainable development advocate,
Mhm.
and I am inspired to mentor because mentorship has been a big part of my growth and my career journey. So yeah, that's basically a little about me.
Okay. I think maybe at the end of the day, we would like to hear more about your network so that,
Yeah,
yes, anybody who is interested can reach out to you.
of
So,
course.
usually, Hilda, I like to start with the story of when you were a kid. Can you tell us when you were a
Mhm.
kid, what were your dreams? What are the things you wanted to become in future? You remember the question they used to ask us when we were kids? What do you want to do when
Yeah,
you
what you
grow up?
went to where you grew up.
Exactly.
Well, for me, growing up, it was I had just one dream. I read about Kofi Annan, who was a former UN Secretary General at the
Mhm.
time, and his story inspired me because looking at him, a Ghanaian who is, you know, in such a high position, it really inspired me. So I remember I wrote in my book that when I grow up, I want to be a UN Secretary General.
So
And my dad,
at that age, you
yes,
already even had a book you were using to write down your dreams. Wow.
no, it wasn't a book I was writing my dreams, but I remember I wrote it at the back of my notebook, my school notebook.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes. My dad was particular about education, so mostly he would go through our books. So I think he saw what I wrote. And one Sunday morning, we were on our way to church, and he's like, when you grow up, you want to be a UN Secretary General. I was like, really, you wrote, you read what I wrote? And
Mm,
he was like, yeah. He was proud because at that age, having such big dreams,
yeah, can you
he felt
imagine?
really proud.
Mm,
Yes, and I didn't really know the nitty-gritties of what went into you being the UN Secretary General. But I mean, just the fact that he was a Ghanaian and he was, with the UN and with that high position really inspired me. So that was my dream as a kid.
okay, I know you just said, yeah, your dad read your book, but was there any memorable childhood experience that you had that also had some sort of an impact on the career path or some of the decisions you made while growing up?
Yes, quite a lot of them, but one that really stand out to me and really impacted my decision growing up was a story I shared. I even shared it on my LinkedIn about a classmate that I had, Erica. She was very brilliant. She had an amazing handwriting. I mean, a very vibrant, bubbly young lady. And while we were in school, we had stories that she had gone missing. And I think 2 weeks after, we had news that she's back home. And, we're curious, we're kids, we're still in primary school at the time. So we decided to go and visit her, and we realized she said she got taken away by dwarfs into
Oh,
some forest. Yes, and they taught her things about being a priestess and the like. So she came back, and now she was a priest, and her family didn't want her back in school because she should be living a certain kind of lifestyle. And when I went home, I really thought about it. I felt
mhm.
like no, she could still go to school, get a career, and it doesn't matter if you want to be a fetish priest or a priestess or
Yeah.
whatever, but um where I grew up, it was a rural community at
Mhm.
the time. Now, because of migration, the town has really expanded, but then it was basically a farming community. Education wasn't really a priority. People didn't really understand the importance or the necessity. And I think if she had had a mentor, someone looking after her, someone who had her interest at heart, the person could have, advocated for her, talked to the family, and she could still be in school because Erica was a brilliant girl.
Yeah.
And that's one turning point for me.
Mhm.
Yes, that's how come I love to mentor. I like to be there to share my story and inspire others
Oh,
also.
that's very inspiring. The story of the dwarfs, I'm still like trying to process
Yeah,
dwarfs.
yeah.
Like, do they actually exist?
Well,
Oh,
this is spirituality. We can't really say, but
yeah.
that's what she said she saw and what she experienced.
I don't think I would still be alive if I had that kind of experience anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Hilda, for sharing that story. So I noticed that you also you have a bachelor's degree in landscape architecture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now you are doing a couple of other things that are not
Things
directly related. Yes. So
exactly.
the transition, what influenced the transition? Why did you do the landscape architecture in the first place? And why did you transition to what you're currently doing?
Okay, so thank you. Um first of all, like I said earlier, I had a dream of becoming a UN secretary,
Hmm.
but then I still didn't know what it was about. I didn't have mentors or people who could coach me
Yeah.
or help me, navigate those paths. So when I finished junior high, no, senior high, I knew I was going to the university, but I didn't know what course I was going to do.
Hmm.
I read science in
Yeah.
senior high. Yes,
Okay.
so my dad spoke to a doctor friend, and he chose the courses for me. So I ended up with the landscape architecture
Hmm.
in KNUST, which is in Ghana. And I went because I wanted to go to the university. And for
Of
me, it
course.
wasn't really about the program or whatever, but I just wanted to go to the university.
Yeah.
And KNUST was a dream school for me, so I was
Mhm.
excited. And then I get in, and then yes, I did the course. I mean, I did well. I graduated with the second upper. And after school, I realized that that particular program I didn't have a lot of market
Right.
in Ghana. If I was to be outside in Europe or America or somewhere, I would really do well. Get
Hmm.
a job. But Ghana, it was a new field, and there were a few organizations or firms who were doing that, and it was hard. So
Yeah.
after I did my national service with the Environmental Protection Agency, and that's when I started developing interest for environmental sustainability and the likes. But after national service, I stayed home for about 2 years. I wasn't getting a job
Mm.
because now people look at your certification and they feel like they can't give you a role in probably in finance
Yeah.
or
Exactly.
administration,
Hmm.
because you didn't study anything like that. And it
Hmm.
was hard. Yes. So it was quite difficult until in 2020, after COVID, I got a job as a customer service relations officer. And I worked there for 2 years. And then later I ended up with my current job with GIZ. And when I came to GIZ, I started becoming very active on LinkedIn. So I started a newsletter, I started writing, articles and the likes. And my colleagues who read them, came back and they were like, wow, Aku, you're good. I mean, you write good articles. This is really good. And I realized I was happy doing that.
Yeah, right.
So then I decided that, okay, no, this is something I need to pursue, you know, go into maybe communications, develop myself in that area, use that, leverage that to start my network
Mm.
and do things around that.
Mm.
So already I'm working in a development corporation. So
Right.
maybe communications and development corporation won't be a bad thing. So that's where the switch came in.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah, that's where the switch came in.
Okay.
It was after, people seeing the things I do and commending me and me, realizing that, okay, this is something I'm passionate about. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't, I find it easy to do. It comes to me very easily. So
Yeah.
why don't I
Why
pursue
don't
that?
you do it? Okay. So, before you started writing, like the first thing you ever wrote, I don't know if you are able to remember, but do you still remember what inspired you to write that first article?
So, yes, it was the person who reached out to me. So I was there, and then, Mr. Jose, he has a dentist clinic,
Mm.
um, yes, with a wife. So they moved from the States and then they settled in Ghana. The wife is a Ghanaian, but he's
Mm-hmm.
not a Ghanaian. And then
Okay.
they opened this dentist clinic. So he reached out to me, told me about what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I'll come check out your place. And then I went, I saw the place, I had interactions with him and the wife, and I decided, let me write about them because I
Oh,
love their story.
okay.
They've worked in the States for 25 years and decided to move to Ghana and start their own business. And that was my very first article on LinkedIn.
Oh, wow.
And it was, yes, he loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how come I started writing other things. So mostly what my newsletter on LinkedIn is about. I write about, you know, people making change,
Mm-hmm.
impact in their fields, things around sustainability and the like. So yes, I do a lot of feature writing.
Okay. So I remember you mentioned that you didn't have a mentor. So basically,
Mhm.
your entire career, you had to figure out everything on your own.
Not entirely. I think after my national service, I met a mentor.
Okay.
And yes, then that was a bit later because
Mm-hmm.
I'd already done with my university education,
Mm-hmm.
and I was still home, looking for a job to do. Yes, so that's when I met he's called Mr. Otu Champo, and he owns an NGO called Eco Warriors. So it's basically a youth-led organization who are into and environmental conservation, sustainability, tree planting, environmental education, stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. Yeah,
Okay.
so I met him. I registered for a conference in Accra, and we happened to be on the same platform. And I was on the platform, I was seeing his contributions, and I was like, no, this person looks like someone I could need in my corner. So I reached out to him,
Oh,
and he
you
was like,
rather
oh,
reached out to
yes,
him.
I did.
Hmm.
I had to. I reached out to him, and then we spoke. He said, oh, he wants to meet me, and we met. And he took a liking to me. He started, making valuable suggestions about what I could do, helping me to understand um the space, I want
Right.
to go into. He really literally held my hand,
Okay.
helped me to understand so many things. So I do a bit of advocacy around climate change sustainability. It's because of him.
Mm.
I did a lot of projects, volunteered for a lot of his projects. Example, the tree planting initiatives he does. And it really helped me. It opened my eye. I was exposed to a lot of people. I got to network with individuals, and then that helped me, grow.
Right. I hope he's somewhere listening to this and getting to know the impact he created in the life of somebody.
He
I really
knows
hope.
because everywhere I get to, every platform I get, I mention his name. I'm always writing about, yes, because I appreciate what he did for me.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do not take that for granted at all.
And it's interesting to see how you two are paying it forward. Like you've gotten to understand the power of mentorship, and you're also putting in all the efforts you can to just provide guidance to all those who are in need of it in your own way.
Yes, yes,
Um,
exactly.
what you're saying is while you were in the university, you didn't have any like
No, I didn't have
educational
any,
mentor.
no, not
Oh,
one.
yeah, right.
So yes, I navigated that on my own.
Do you think that
Yes.
maybe if you had a mentor at maybe at the university to guide you on the kind of courses that you should do you think that you would have been in a different space now?
Yes, I think even if I'd had a mentor prior to, me going to the university would have
Yeah.
really helped because I think in the senior high school, that's where we make a lot of decisions.
Yeah,
And
right.
if we are able to make the right decisions at that stage in our life, then it would really help us. Yes. So
Good. Yeah.
I think if I'd got a mentor earlier on, someone to explain things to you, to
Mm-hmm.
tell you what's really out there and how the system is, because when
Mm.
you're in school, it's different.
Yeah.
When you come
Oh,
out and then you
it's
realize that, okay, now you're facing the real world and
right.
it's not, it's way different from what you experience in
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you have someone, telling you those truths and helping you, it would have really saved me a
Mm.
lot of time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now, building on that, you've had to undergo a couple of transitions from having a
Mhm.
BSc to being a communications person to writing. It definitely doesn't come by without challenges. So I'll
Mhm.
be very interested in knowing some of the challenges you encountered, apart from the fact that you really didn't have mentorship at the university level to guide you. Moving from one field to the other, it's a
It's
little,
it's very, yes,
yeah,
very, very challenging and
yeah.
frustrating, like I said.
So
In
frustrating.
yes, very, because you want a job and people, and let me state this fact that there's difference between career and then a job. I didn't have a career path. I
Very
didn't know
true.
what career I wanted,
Yeah.
but I needed a job to
Hmm.
be able to sustain myself, to be able to support my family. Yes, because where I'm coming from, there was a bit of financial constraint,
Yeah.
and I needed that financial liberty, sort of, to be able to cater for myself and also support my family. And so some of the challenges was, people getting rejections. I mean, you apply for jobs
Hmm.
and people don't want to, give you that opportunity because you didn't learn anything in
Hmm.
that field,
Hmm.
basically. Yes. And so that was one challenge I had.
Hmm.
It made me start my career very late
Hmm.
because I had to stay home for 2 years. And then when I did two, I didn't, like I said, I didn't know what career path I wanted. So I was just doing anything.
Yeah.
Once it was bringing in the money and it was catering for me, my
Hmm.
needs, and it was good. Yes. And so those were some of the challenges, the
Hmm.
rejections, the frustrations.
Hmm. And staying home
Yeah,
too for 2 years, like
yes, staying
it's
home
not
and
a
not
funny
doing anything.
experience.
Not at all, not
Mm.
at all. Yes, so those were some of the challenges I had,
Okay.
in transitioning.
Mm. So I'm looking at everything you've been through now, and I was just looking at some of your achievements, and I this is big. Realized that you featured among Ghana's most inspiring women in 2024. There's a reason
Yeah, so
why.
that's that's for my work where I work now, GIZ Ghana.
Okay.
Yes, so as part of the International Women's Day, they did
Mm.
a competition where you were supposed to nominate someone for the most inspiring woman. within GIZ Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I had colleagues, nominating me for
Right.
for that particular award.
Yeah.
Yes.
This just says a lot about the fact that your background does not really determine where you're going. Because if you look at the kind of struggles that you had to go through, the transitions you had to make to be able to find out your passion, and you ending up as one of the most influential people in GIZ, I think it's a message to a lot of people.
Mhm.
Yeah, like we should
Ye-
not focus on the glass being half empty, but rather focus on the glass being
Yes,
half full.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. So Hilda, as you as a person, what do you find most rewarding, or what do you think is one of your greatest achievements, looking back at everything?
Um, greatest achievement. I think my greatest achievement would be that I've been able to inspire somebody,
Right.
because it's not easy,
Yeah.
for someone to say, I look up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, I had this speaking, was it, yeah, I was called to, do a presentation at this event, and this lady came and she said, oh, she saw me post about it on my LinkedIn, and
Mm.
she's also in that, climate sustainability space, and she really admires the things I do, so
Mhm.
she decided to come. And she came, we spoke, we took pictures, and then some weeks later, she calls me and she's like, she really wants me to mentor her. And I
Oh,
look at
that's
my and
nice.
I'm like, okay, for someone to see what I do and be
Yeah.
inspired and say they want me to mentor is huge
Yeah,
to me.
you
It's
feel like you're
yes,
making a difference.
yes, I feel I'm making an impact, and
Right.
it's not about the numbers, it's about,
Mm.
you being able to change one life, because
Mm-hmm.
that person could also do it for somebody else, and then
Yeah.
the ripple effects goes on and on. So yeah, that's one of the greatest achievements I look up to. Yes,
That's
to
nice to
definitely
know.
inspire life. Yes.
Yeah, that's really nice to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so with everything that's going on, you know how sometimes it can be challenging with everything that you're doing. How do you
Mhm.
stay motivated? How are you constantly on your feet? How are you not like how do you not get broken? What keeps you? Yeah.
Yes, so first of all, God has been a source of strength,
Yeah.
because growing up, it was just my nuclear family, my dad, my mom, and my siblings. We didn't have any external support. So it's been God who's carried us to this far.
Right.
And even when I was in the house, still looking for jobs to do, my dad died. That was 2019, prior to
Oh.
COVID. And it was difficult. My kid brother was in school, and I needed that job very badly, because
Mhm.
now we needed to support him to school. So it's been God since day one. He's been given me the strength to
Mm.
move on.
Wow.
Secondly, I would say it's me having mentors like Otue Champon.
Mhm.
Anytime I need help, I call him. And it's amazing. It doesn't matter where he is. Sometimes he could be in a conference, in the States or in Europe. And I call him and he answers. And he's willing to listen and advise and give me the encouragement I
Yeah,
need.
because
And
he knows that if you're
yes,
reaching out to him, it's for a
yes,
reasonable
yes,
reason.
exactly. And I that has really helped me. Whenever I've run an idea by him, he's
Mhm.
always supportive. Like, that's good. That's this way, you can do it that way. And it's
Mm.
really helped me. And thirdly is, I would say, my colleagues and friends I've found, God intentionally gave me people, surrounded me with people
Mm.
who love and admire me. So anytime I am down, they are there to encourage me, to push me. Yes, and lastly will be, my determination and my zeal to succeed, because
Yeah.
I feel like I owe it to my younger sibling. I
Mhm.
owe it to the younger
Your
generation.
mentor,
I owe
yeah.
it to somebody who really needs it. I owe it to Erica, my
Right.
classmate in primary
Right.
school,
Yeah.
to be a better person. Yes, to keep
Right.
pushing. Yes, because someone needs it. And I always say I'm blessed, because yes, I might have gone through certain things, but I listen to people's stories. I'm someone who loves to listen to people, and people are going through way, way worse than I did.
Mhm.
People didn't even have the chance to go to school like I did. You get
Yes.
it? People are
Yes.
going through a lot. So I owe it to them and to everybody to keep pushing.
Wow. It's like this is very inspiring. And
Mm.
so just to like my final question, I know that there's a couple of people out there too who are still struggling, who are in need of mentorship at the
Yeah,
university and still trying to figure out what they want to do.
they
Just
want to
as
do.
yes, as a closing point, what advice would you give to them?
My advice would be to trust God, number
Right.
one,
Mm-hmm.
because he's the giver of life.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you don't have life, you can't do anything. All your dreams and everything is gone.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to put your trust in him to so that he keeps sustaining you and he would use you for the purpose for which he has brought you to this earth. And secondly, my advice would be to not give up. Probably you've already made the mistake of, choosing a career path that you didn't know about or you didn't have any guidance on, and maybe you're struggling to transition like I was or currently is.
Yeah.
But just focus on what you want to do, read about what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
find out how do I move into this space. Maybe it means taking short courses, getting that certification that will help you to be able to now get job opportunities within that career space. That would also help you transition. And I'll also say that find find mentors. Sometimes we sit down waiting for people to approach us. You get it. But like I reached out to try and reach out to people. You see someone you admire in your space and in doing the same thing you wish you would do. Reach out to them, talk to them, tell them to give you advice on what to do. Explain your situations to them because
Mm-hmm.
if you don't do it, nobody will know what you're going through. And
Exactly.
try and share your story, no matter how bad it is, no matter how good it is. I believe every story has a learning um in there, like something someone can learn from.
Mm-hmm.
So put
Mm-hmm.
yourself out there, share your story, let people know that this is what you want to do, this is
Yeah.
where you're falling short. And trust me, people are willing to help, people are willing to offer that needed assistance. So
That's
that would be my advice.
yeah, that's very true. The storytelling thing, it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's a big thing because how
It
did I
is
even get to know you? It's because you shared your story. And
exactly.
yes, it's because you shared your story. I believe a lot in storytelling, just like you said. And
Mm-hmm.
secondly, also, nobody is an island. You can't just sit in
No,
your space and think that someone is going to reach out to
yes,
you to ask you
no,
what you want to do. No,
no.
you need to look for people who are working in maybe the same area that you're interested in and reach out to them and just talk to them. And Hilda here is even one of those people. She already has a platform where she's working on building like a mentoring platform for
Yeah,
students. Yes. So if anybody out there is having any challenges, you can always reach out to Hilda. I'm guessing she's built on the mentorship that was provided to her, and she's also paying it forward. So if you want
yes,
to reach out to Hilda, I think she's very open. She stated it on her LinkedIn profile. If you're interested in collaborating, just reach out to her. So thank you so much, Hilda. It's really been amazing. And the fact that you even dedicated this time to just provide guidance to other people who are listening to you, I'm so
yeah.
grateful. Thank you so much. It was really amazing
Thank you,
listening to you.
Bill. Yes, yes, yes. And I am, like I said, I'm honored for you reaching out. It's such a beautiful thing. It's amazing what the internet can do.
You
You're in
know,
Cameroon, yes, and I'm
yeah.
in Ghana, and yes. We are doing this. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
I am
thank you
really honored.
so much, Hilda. And to all those who are listening, see, Hilda already said it. You should not give up. No matter how
No,
difficult it seems, you should never give up. So, just to conclude, thank you once again, Hilda, and to all those who are listening to me. We would be posting the next episode soon, and I hope that you would also be able to listen to the next episode. But until then, don't give up.